Hi there, y'all. It's me, Mike, the guy who writes these stories. I am currently on my little yearly Slovakian forest go. What the fuck is that? Oh. Okay, clearly I'm a city boy, but also, what the fuck is that? Hey there, y'all. It's me, Mike, coming at you from the Slovakian wilderness. I'm here on my yearly trip to get away from everything, where I disconnect, get out of the city, chop a lot of wood, play fetch with the dog, grow a really shitty beard, and also walk around forest like this. And also do a lot of writing. And since I am taking a bit of a break from writing, there's stuff moving in the forest that I never know if it could be an animal, so I'm just gonna move slightly quicker. Hopefully nothing coming after me. Let's just get out into the open. Oh fuck, is this gonna be a video of me running away from a fucking bear? Because I prefer not to. I am at a light trot. Nothing there, right? Alright, take 3. Whenever I try recording this video, I either find like a dead animal or something starts moving threateningly behind me. Which, by the way, hopefully... Shit. Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe going out into the woods to film a writing tips video was not the most intelligent thing to do. But hi, it's me, Mike, the guy who writes these stories. And I'm currently on my yearly break trip to Slovakia, where I disconnect from the internet, get to a place where the phone reception isn't very good. And yeah, I just spent 2 weeks out in the Slovakian wilderness, taking a break from dealing with the tourists. And I do a lot of writing, I chop a lot of wood, play fetch with the dog, grow a shitty beard, and walk around the wilderness, such as this. We are near the edge of the village right now. But I keep on bumping into wild animals, so I think I'm actually going to be slowly retreating back to the relative safety of, I don't know, electricity and shit. But anywho, since I'm out here, since I'm doing a lot of writing, I've been asked a lot over the years for writing advice, and I figured this would be a good place as any to film a bit of a writing advice video. And when it does come to writing advice, I think there's so many different facets of what to focus in on. One of the easiest things to sort of recommend to me is books, because I think you'll learn writing by doing, but also there is a big academic background to the way that stories are told and the general grammar of stories. And I think there's a lot of books that every aspiring writer owes it to themselves to read. Just off the top of my head, I think Christopher Vogler's writing journey is absolutely fantastic. It's very consumable. It does kind of focus more on screenwriting, but any sort of writing you do, like there's structural things, or at least theories you should be aware of. Even if you break them, you should at least know that they exist and know how they function. I really like Joseph Campbell's Hero with a Thousand Faces. I think that's a must-read for any aspiring writer, but any real human being in general that has even a minuscule interest in storytelling or history. It's also a beautifully written book. It does require for you to like sit down and read it. It's not a manual. If you are looking for a manual though, Blake Snyder's Save the Cat is a pretty good place to start with story structure. I don't think that Blake Snyder is a very good writer. What is it? The movie that he wrote, Stop or My Grandma Will Shoot, about like a police grandma or some shit like that. But he was a successful writer, and he was very good at setting up structure. I would say his book, Save the Cat, is pretty good at basically teaching people how story structure works. Lajos Ergi's The Art of Playwriting, I think. I forget exactly what the name of the writer is, but he was a Hungarian playwright. I think this is a book from the 19th century, but the way that he writes about setting up character and themes and all that sort of stuff, I found to be really, really useful. In that book, actually, there is a way that he would break down his characters, talking about their parents, their past experiences, who they are, what they want. These sorts of things that I found really helpful in my early writing career to kind of help map out characters. And I think a lot of the stuff that these books teach you, if you use it for long enough, it becomes second nature. You start to kind of internalize all of these theories, and you no longer think about them consciously. But then when you look back at your writing or back at your notes, you're like, oh shit, I was doing a Joseph Campbell thing here, or oh, I was thinking about Lajos Ergé over here. So I do find these books to be really useful. If there's any other books that I would like to add, I will pop them, I don't know, here, I guess. Or also, if you would be interested in a more detailed book recommendation sort of video, let me know. Because I've read a lot of books on writing, and I've read a lot of shitty books on writing, but I've read less good books on writing. I can warn you from not the shitty stuff that floats around Amazon that has good rankings but poor content. Now, as I'm doing this little walk, I am going into a more shaded area. I do want to point out, I am walking up a hill. Might not be the greatest idea to make a video walking up a hill, so if there are any sharp cuts, it's because I'm a smoker and I ran out of fucking breath. So I realized it might just be better to stay in place while I give this advice. And I found a little shady spot. Hopefully no wild animals will consume me out here. There's a lot of birds, but most importantly, there's like wild strawberries that nobody owns. So I can just, I can eat them. So let's take a bit of advice that I guess I would provide. Would kind of revolve around the head game of writing. I know I started off with talking about a lot of structural stuff, but the most common thing that I hear whenever I go to various like writing meets out in Prague, out in the city, or when I browse through writing forums online, is like, oh, I started this novel and now I'm stuck and I don't know how to finish it. My go-to advice, with all due respect, is if you haven't written anything, don't write a fucking novel. It is a completely understandable thing to want to do. I'm going to try walking a tiny bit as we move. It's a completely understandable thing to try to put together a longer piece of writing that is meant to encapsulate your entire existence as a human being and kind of bring meaning to your existence. And, you know, everybody's got a book burning behind their eyes. But if you haven't written anything before, to take on the gargantuan task of completing a ooh, there's a little cabin thing here. Sorry, this is this is a very disconnected writing advice video, but ooh, a little cabin. Maybe there's a little demon who lives out there who's gonna eat my little heart. But sorry, back to the novel thing. Don't write a novel. Start off with smaller stuff. You'll be so much more confident in your writing capabilities once you've already written stuff. Because knowledge of structural stuff is definitely important, but the easiest way to learn how to write a character is to write a character. And the easiest thing to learn how to finish off a story or get past writing block is to get past the writing block. And if you have short projects that you know when you're gonna finish, like something that you know you're gonna take, 5 days to work on, X amount of hours, and then you finish it, and then it doesn't have to be good, it just has to be done. And once it is done, especially if it's not good, you will learn a bunch of lessons off of that. So moving away from large, complicated projects, first of all, makes it easier for you to finish it and learn stuff and become a better writer. But also, and I might be partially projecting here, or I might also just be thinking of all of my writer friends. When we drink, it's maybe 3 a.m. and they start, and I'm like, oh, what are you working on? And they start waxing poetic, not about the thing that they're working on, but about how it will be received, what it is, what doors it will open, what will happen to their career once they finish this grand piece of writing, and it's usually a novel, and to put that amount of pressure on something that is not completed, on something that you haven't really thought through to the end, or you haven't seen it to the end, is a massive amount of pressure that's more than likely, and again, everybody works a different way, but for me personally, this is definitely true, and for just about everybody who I've ever met, this is true. You put so much pressure on that single large piece of writing, and there's so much pressure on it, and it's got to be good because you've been working on it for so goddamn long. And also, you won't say it out loud, but you've put a lot of your personal self-worth is attached to this big project. And you can survive a short story not being great, but you can't survive 3 years of your life being flat. So I think working on big projects definitely puts you in the wrong headspace to actually learn about writing, and especially to write a lot. I've gotten a couple starts with writing, but I guess the more serious aspect of writing where I created an audience, and why you're listening to me right now, presumably, is because of the creepypasta stuff. I started off on No Sleep. This is after fucking 9 years of semi-professional writing, but really I didn't see a lot of movement in my career until I started writing for Reddit's No Sleep, which is first-person short horror. Anybody can write it, anybody can put it up, and there's a pretty good chance that if the story is legible, at least, that one of the big YouTube narrators will swoop into your personal messages and be like, hey, can I read this, and pay you absolutely nothing. Or I can use them to promote your stuff or anything of that nature. But getting started small is definitely crazy helpful. And I'm gonna pause this recording as I start off the next lesson. Another bit of advice that I have found really helpful is something that I started doing, I think, on the second story that I ever did for No Sleep. Is I was nervous about what I was writing. If memory serves me right, this would be The Saxophone of Eric Zahn, my H.P. Lovecraft cover of the music of Eric Zahn, but in No Sleep creepypasta form. Partially inspired by my time in Scotland and my playing of the saxophone. But what really helped me with that story is I was struggling. I was getting writer's block. It was 3-4 days of just sitting down and trying to write, but not getting any proper writing done, or writing a couple paragraphs and then deleting all of it. What really helped me is above the Microsoft Word document where I'm writing that story, I wrote, "This is me at 25 doing my best Lovecraft impression." And the moment I wrote that, it became so much easier to write all this stuff because, it kind of lost the pressure of this has to be good. And it became, oh yeah, this is me in my current moment doing the best that I can. And that's all that matters, because that is all that matters. It is just you and the page, and you just gotta give it your best shot. And if your best shot isn't great, fuck it, finish it anyway, and you'll be better for writing more. But I have done this with every single bit of writing that I've put together since The Saxophone Eric Zahn, which is about 198 different stories. But I found that to be really helpful because, what is... I fucked up the camera, stop it. There we go, is it normal now? Oh, God damn it. I've done this with every bit of writing that I've made since The Saxophone Eric Zahn, where always at the top of every Word file before I get started on the first draft is, this is where I'm at, this is the date, this is the things that I'm nervous about. And it's definitely helped me get a peace of mind, because I go from what I ought to be as a writer, or what I want to be as a writer, to who I am as a writer and who I am as an individual. And also reading back, it makes for a really cool personal background sort of stuff, because I'll read a story that I wrote 3 years ago, and I'll be like, oh, I'm super stressed about, what's an example that I can think of? There was definitely during COVID a lot of oh shit, I'm unemployed and I don't know what I'm gonna do. And you can kind of smell that from a lot of the COVID era stories. And I'm like, shit, my savings are running out. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my financial future. But I would just write that down, and then I wouldn't think about my financial future throughout the duration of the story, because I was like, okay, that's off my mind. That is a separate issue from what I am writing right now. And then I finish off the story, and 2 years later, I'm like, I did get a job. Cool, I was worried about nothing there. But it does create a nice personal history that you then have access to. One thing I do want to point out, though, I've had an issue with this where all my first drafts always start off with I'm nervous about this, and then comes the story. I found it very useful to bold that opening, this is what I'm nervous about section, because every once in a while, if you do creepypasta narrations and you have other actors read your shit, sometimes they will sit down in the recording studio. It's a fucking chair and a microphone, but I had an actor of mine come over. He sits down in the chair, takes out his phone, starts reading the story, and he opens up the story with, June 23rd. I am so nervous about Laura not writing back to me. Did I do something wrong, or is she just not interested? And then he goes into reading the actual story, and I fucking lose my shit laughing, because this is whoever the girl was. It was a year later. She was no longer relevant in my life whatsoever, and I had not thought about her for fucking months until the actor reads it out. And I'm like, Sean, that wasn't a part of the story. He's like, yeah, this seemed kind of weird. Like, I was trying to find out the motivation of this character. I was like, who's this Laura character when she's never mentioned in the rest of the story? So yeah, if you do share your work with others, make sure you fucking delete the personal note if that is something that you do. Which again, I highly recommend as a writer. It is a really good way to get a peace of mind and kind of calm your head game. Kind of go from trying to figure out what the story is going to be and all that sort of stuff to focusing in on the actual story itself without dragging your personal shit into it. So I find that to be really helpful. What I don't find to be very helpful is trying to make a writing advice video in the fucking woods. So I'm gonna end it here. And yeah, I guess this will be a Patreon exclusive just because I don't think the quality of this is really up to snuff. Anyway, guys, thanks for all the support. Yell egg in the comment section if you made it this far. And I hope you have a pleasant day. Bye-bye. Hey guys, it's me, present day, 9th of September, 2024, bedbound Mike. When I'm able to get up and all that sort of stuff, I'm gonna do a proper update video by the microphone. But for now, just wanted to let you all know that I'm very, very thankful for all the well wishes. And also, there is a talk that I gave about writing and like being a writer professionally that is currently on the Patreon and will be up on this channel, I guess, next Monday. Still not sure exactly how most of the content is going to look here over the coming weeks, but there's definitely going to be Thursday stories because those are already all pre-recorded. With that said, I'll keep this fairly short because, you know, I'm tired. Anywho, just also wanted to thank all of the patrons, old and new. Big old thanks to Daniel Wengel, Bob Konderk, Dante Kincaid, Matt, Joyce, Mr. Creepypasta, Kus, Christopher Barunda, Nathan Hotsetter, Gretchen Killy, Dying Sun, Charlie Cooper, Paul Evans, Quad Pills, Nick Bainoff, Jacob Wedden, Shion, and Larry V. Thank you so much, guys. Again, I am surviving. I'm holding up. And I'll tell you more in a couple of days. Bye-bye. Hope everybody is safe, sane, and healthy out there.